Let's listen back in.
Thank you very much, everybody. Would you like to come behind us? Come on over. Come on. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
NBC, potentially Erica Kirk there, the widow.
Okay, so we'll do it.
You get behind him.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
You can stand in front over here. It goes over there.
Okay.
Jeanette, stand in front.
Judge Janine, Chief Protocol.
Thank you. Don't tell Monica.
She's a strong leader. She just made television.
Stuff, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to be here for our friend Sergio Gore. Today, we're thrilled to be in a swear-in for the next ambassador to India and special envoy to South and Central Asia, which is a big deal, and Sergio will handle it better than anybody could handle it. So I just want to congratulate Sergio. Come here a minute, Sergio. Joined this afternoon by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. Thank you, J.D. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. What are you going to do? Secretary Scott Bessent, who's doing a great job. Attorney General Pam Bondi. And U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro. And I see D.C. is a very safe place, Janine, right? Very safe place, and we're going to keep it that way.
Yes.
Along with Senators Lindsey Graham, Jim Risch, Tommy Tuberville, and Katie Britt. And I will give you an exemption because, you know, they're supposed to be right now in the Senate. And if you guys want to sneak out, nobody will see you leaving. Do you want to do that, Lindsey, or do you want to stay for now? Okay, you sneak out anytime you want. Thank you. We don't want to screw up any votes, do we?
Amen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. But we're also very honored to be joined by Mrs. A very special woman who I unfortunately have seen a lot of lately on television for the wrong reasons. A woman who is great, who Charlie said is the greatest of anybody he knew, best friends and best everything, Erica Kirk. So thank you very much. And as Erica knows, another special woman, Laura Ingram. Where's Laura? She's here someplace. Thank you, Laura. And many other true American patriots, great people. 1 year ago, Sergio played a key role in helping us secure the most consequential presidential election victory in the history of our country. And from the day we won, he immediately began working to staff our new administration with the most talented team of any president. And we have had a great team. Couple of mistakes there, Sergio, but we won't mention that. They're gone. We got rid of them pretty quick. We found a couple we weren't thrilled with. We got them out of here. But as my director of office and presidential personnel from the early days of transition, Sergio's leadership was essential to fulfilling the historic mandate entrusted to us by the American people. And that's what we've done. With the help here at the White House, we set new benchmarks for presidential staffing. Nobody's done it, I think, hopefully better, but certainly quicker. But I don't think anybody's done it better. We have great people. They're surrounded by the people that I really do love and like and respect. But we hired 4,000 appointees across every federal department in record time, including over 1,000 appointments on day one. So before we even got started, we had over 1,000 people working for us. Under Sergio's leadership, federal agencies and departments reached staffing levels of 95%, and it's faster than any administration in modern-day history. And prior to his work on behalf of my 2024 campaign, Sergio had tremendous success as an entrepreneur in the publishing world. He even published my book, which went to #1. I was very happy because if it didn't, he wouldn't be here right now. But now I'm trusting Sergio to help strengthen one of our country's most important international relationships, and that's the strategic partnership with the Republic of India. It's a big deal. India is home to one of the world's oldest civilizations, the largest country in the world, actually. And it's got over 1.5 billion people. And we have a fantastic relationship with the Prime Minister, Modi. And Sergio's only enhanced that because he's become already friendly with the Prime Minister, knowing that Sergio is going to be the ambassador they would call constantly to say, let's get to know this man, and they like what they see. So I know you're going to have a great success over there. It's a very important relationship. But it's also the fastest growing middle class, and it's an important economic and strategic security partner in the Indo-Pacific region. It's an amazing country, actually. 1.5 billion people. China has 1.4 billion. Those are two big countries. As ambassador, Sergio will work to fortify our country's bond, promote investments in key U.S. industries and technologies, increase American energy exports, and expand our security cooperation. And, you know, we're making a deal with India, a much different deal than we had in the past. So right now they don't love me, but they'll love us again. We're getting a fair deal, just a fair trade deal. We had pretty unfair trade deals. They're very good negotiators, Sergio, so you have to take a look at that, if you would, please. But we're getting close, Scott. I think we're pretty close to doing a deal that's good for everybody, right? In the old days, do you think Biden would ask that question? I don't think so. They'd say, how are we doing with India? He didn't know about India. He didn't know a damn thing. But that's okay. We had him. Likewise, in Sergio's role as special envoy to South and Central Asia, he'll be a key emissary to a very important group of nations at the crossroads between East and West. And last week, I was honored to host the leaders of 5 Central Asian countries here in the White House. And Sergio will be helping with all of that. We had an amazing meeting the other night at the White House. And I'm confident that Sergio will do an outstanding job and make our country and all of his friends very proud. But I'm very proud of Sergio. I've known him for a long time, and he's a great guy. And most people love him. Some people don't like him so much. I'll be honest with you, Sergio. I said some people, when they don't like Sergio, they don't like him. But when they like him more than anybody. But most of them really are the like category. And I just want to say that I think he's going to be an outstanding representative for the United States of America. And it's a big deal. Being the ambassador to India is a big deal. So, Sergio, congratulations. I know you're going to do a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Okay. Swear him in here.
Left hand up, right hand up.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge. I appreciate the assistance. We have such a crowd here, you'd think we're swearing in a vice president, sir. Okay. Please repeat after me. I, Sergio Gore,
I, Sergio Gore,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
of
the office on which I am about to enter.
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr.
Mr. President, this is an honor of a lifetime. I want to thank first you, what you have done for this country before you came back in, the trouble that this country was facing. I mean, frankly, we were screwed. What you have achieved in 10 months has been historic, has surpassed any other presidency, and I fully believe what you will achieve in the next 3 years will never be beaten. So it has been an honor to serve you. I've been at your side for many years. I will continue to be there. And it's just an incredible honor, and I look forward to enhancing the relationship between our two nations. But again, thank you for entrusting me with this position, and I look forward to doing a great job for you.
Thank you very much, Sergio.
Well, thank you, sir. First of all, congratulations, Sergio. You're going to be a great ambassador, a great representative to the country of India, which the president and I both love. As a lot of you know, Sergio was a critical piece of what made the first 10 months such a great success. Obviously, the president's leadership is the most important thing, but you can't do a whole lot unless you've got good people around you. And Sergio did as much as anybody to ensure that the White House was staffed with the very best people, people who were loyal to the president, loyal to the country, and loyal to the agenda that we're trying to implement. So thank you all for being here. I think it's a great testament to you, Sergio, that you got multiple cabinet secretaries, Erica Kirk, the President of the United States. This crowd would not turn out for just anybody, but it turned out for Sergio Gore. You're going to do a hell of a job, man. Congratulations.
Just to echo what Sergio said, Mr. President, you've done a lot for this country, more than any other president has in such a short period of time. And part of that is putting together a phenomenal team. And I know Sergio was instrumental in helping you achieve that. And so we think he'll do a great job. This is a very impressive collection of people. There are almost 1.5 billion people in the Oval Office right now. But Sergio's going to do a phenomenal job. Those of us who've known him, so many of his friends that are here and family as well that know how hard he works, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And that's what it takes to work in this administration because of how much you're pushing our country forward around the world and here at home. And we know Sergio will do a great job. So congratulations, Sergio. You're going to do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Janine, please.
Well, I'm very proud to be here with Sergio. My friend has been my friend for many years. He is someone who is loyal, he is trustworthy, and he works as hard as anyone I know. And Mr. President, there is in this room a group of people who love you, who believe in you, and who are so proud to be in this Oval Office and to be part of this amazing day because you have changed the course of America. You and thank you, Sergio, for what you've done. God bless you both.
Well, he was also very good friends with a guy named Charlie. We just knew him as Charlie. And his wife, who he loves so much, is here with us. And maybe, you know how close they were together. Maybe, Erica, you could say a couple of words, please.
Charlie loved you. It's hard not to get emotional because I know that he would have been the first phone call when he found out that you were going to be taking this position. And the way that I was able to witness the two of you work together for years and to champion and support the president was absolutely humbling to witness. And I am so proud of you. And Charlie is going to be with you every single day in spirit, and I will be praying for you every day because I know that this is just the beginning of an incredible opportunity for you. And sir, thank you for allowing Sergio to have this beautiful moment.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John. And that man's watching over us right now, right? Okay. Any questions?
You mentioned senators that are here, Mr. President. Do you personally approve of the deal that's happening right now on Capitol Hill to end the government?
Well, it depends what deal we're talking about. But if it's a deal I heard about, that's certainly, you know, they want to change the deal a little bit. But I would say so. I think based on everything I'm hearing, they haven't changed anything. And we have support from enough Democrats. And we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be opening up our country very quickly.
Mr. President, that deal does reverse the mass firings your administration put through during the shutdown. Did you sign off on that, and will you abide by that if this passes?
Well, I will be. I'll abide by the deal. The deal is very good. We're not going to be giving $1.5 trillion to people that came in from jails and from, you know, the gangs and drug dealers and all of these others that they wanted to be given health care, which would have hurt our health care system. I hope that we're going to be able to have a health care where Lindsay and I were discussing it, Jim and I were discussing it, and Katie, we discussed it. We want a health care system where we pay the money to the people instead of the insurance companies. And I tell you, we're going to be working on that very hard over the next short period of time, where the people get the money. We're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars where the people get the money. Yes, please.
The Syria president, sir,
could you update us on your meeting? Did you come to any agreements?
Say it?
With the leader of Syria you
Yeah.
had earlier, did you come to any agreements today?
Well, I've had an agreement with him. He's a very strong leader. He comes from a very tough place, and he's a tough guy. I liked him. I get along with him, the new president of Syria. And we'll do everything we can to make Syria successful because that's part of the Middle East. We have peace now in the Middle East, first time that anyone can remember that ever happening. And, as you know, Syria is a very big part of the Middle East, very important part. If you look back at Syria for years, they had the doctors, the lawyers, they had so many of the great intellects. It's an amazing place with great people, and we want to see Syria be successful along with the rest of the Middle East. So I have confidence that he'll be able to do the job, absolutely.
How close are you to a deal on a trade deal?
Right.
They're lowering the current tariff rate?
Well, right now the tariffs are very high on India because of the Russian oil, and they've stopped doing the Russian oil. It's been reduced very substantially. Yeah, we're going to be bringing the tariffs down.
What kind of level are we talking about?
I mean, at some point we're going to be bringing them down. Without tariffs, this country would be in such trouble, as they were for many years. That's why we owe $38 trillion. And one of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle-income people and lower-income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. And the numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country. And nobody thinks it's going to be reversed. I think we had a very good court case. As you know, it's before the Supreme Court right now. But if that were ever reversed, people are saying, oh, it's $1 billion. Some people said, oh, it's $2 billion. Well, that obviously we can handle very easily. But this is trillions of dollars we're talking about in terms of the tariff income and all the investment income that's come into our country. We have more than, I would say right now, more than $18 trillion. The biggest number ever is a tiny fraction of that for any country. China, the United States, the biggest number ever. If you look at the past administration, Biden, he did less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We're over $18 trillion. By the time my first year ends, we're going to have over $20 trillion of investment coming into the United States. It's unheard of. We have AI factories. We're leading China by a lot. We have cars and, car plants coming in by more than we've ever had built before. All of that would go away if we lose the tariff case. So all of it would go away. So they're not giving the right numbers. There would be an economic disaster. It would be a national security disaster if we lost the case in the Supreme Court. Daniel? Yes.
This is an idea that you've been talking about for months. This is going to directly and positively impact millions of Americans. Why was this important for you to do, and when can Americans expect that?
So I've been talking about it for a long time, the dividend to people that, have suffered under the Biden administration. So Biden had the highest inflation in history, and we now are at a very low point. We're going to be hitting 1.5% pretty soon. So we're at a low point, and he was a high point. We did that. Food prices are way down. It's all coming down. And the biggest decrease, of course, is energy. And, as goes energy, goes everything else. Because when energy comes down, the oil, the electric, I think you're going to see $2 gasoline or something very close to that. In fact, we're already in the twos. But I think you're going to be seeing very soon $2 gasoline. That's like the equivalent of a massive tax cut. But in addition to that, the great big beautiful bill gives you a very, very big tax cut. And then you have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and no tax on overtime for the middle income and for even, frankly, anybody. But you have no tax, and the no tax on tips has turned out to be a tremendous thing. But when you think no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our seniors, it's the great big beautiful bill, which has been mischaracterized. But now people they don't want to talk about it because it's so good, the enemy, because it's so good for everybody. It's the greatest
piece of legislation ever passed in the history of our country in terms of size. And hence it's called, they call it the big, beautiful bill, or the one big, beautiful. I call it the great, big, beautiful bill. It's an amazing bill for the middle class. It's an amazing bill for jobs. We've never passed anything like it. And in my first administration, so we had the greatest economy. Everything was good, but we're really outdoing it this time because we have investments coming in largely because of tariffs. And I think because of November 5th, the election result. But we have investments coming in like we've never had before.
The deal on Syria, Mr. President, on Syria.
Please, behind you. Caitlin, behind you. Thank you, Caitlin.
On Syria, can we expect an announcement on a pact between Syria and Israel, or an announcement on them joining the end to ISIS?
Yeah, you can expect some announcements on Syria. We want to see Syria become a country that's very successful, and I think this leader can do it. I really do. I think this leader can do it. And people said he's had a rough past. We've all had rough pasts. But he has had a rough past, and I think, frankly, if you didn't have a rough past, you wouldn't have a chance. He gets along very well with Turkey, with President Erdogan, who's a great leader. Erdogan's a great leader and very much in favor of what's happening in Syria. We have to make Syria work. Syria is a big part of the Middle East. And I will tell you, I think it is working and really well. We're working also with Israel on, getting along with Syria, getting along with everybody. And that's working amazingly. As you know, Hamas has given us back numerous bodies. It sounds pretty gruesome, but it's something the parents want more than if their son had been living. Hard to believe. I've seen all of the parents, so many of the parents, and getting back the body of their son, their dead son, is as vital to them, as important to them, as if the boy was generally the boy was alive. And as you know, over the last 4 or 5 days, we've gotten a lot of the additional bodies that they said they were going to. They've worked very hard to do that. So we have peace in the Middle East. It's a great thing, and nobody's ever seen anything quite like it.
After your meeting with the Syrian president today, Mr. President.
Last week about trade talks with supporting a deal that would lower their rates.
With Switzerland?
Yeah.
We're working on a deal to get their tariffs a little bit lower because.
15% is what.
No, I haven't said any number, but we're going to be working on something to help Switzerland along. We hit Switzerland very hard. We want Switzerland to remain successful, and we're a part of Switzerland in the sense that they've been a very good ally. Yeah, we're working on them and some others, and we're working on others to increase them a little bit too.
How close is it?
Switzerland? What, do you have something to do with Switzerland? He wants to buy a nice watch, right? He wants to buy a nice Rolex, right? We'll give Rolex some publicity because Rolex they've been very nice, Now, look, it's a beautiful country. It's a small country, but economically very big. So we're working on something. Caitlin?
After a meeting with the Syrian president earlier today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a big ally of yours, said that she would rather see you focused on nonstop domestic policy meetings here at the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that, and also saying that grocery prices are up and not down, as you've said?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily if you had a bad president. We had a horrible president, and we ended up with Russia, Ukraine, and we ended up with other disasters, too. Don't forget, I put out 8 wars, 9 to come. I think I'll get the other one taken care of, but I put out 8 wars. And look at the damage that Russia, Ukraine has done to us as a country. I mean, we spent $350 billion. We're not spending any money anymore. Now they pay us through NATO. I got NATO to go from 2% to 5%. Well, that's very important. When you're president, you really sort of have to watch over the world because you're going to be dragged into it. Otherwise, you're going to be dragged into a world war. I think if I weren't president, first of all, that war would have never happened if I was president. And if I weren't president, that war could have led to World War III. It won't. It's not going to anymore. But when I first got in, I said, wow, this situation could lead to World War III. And I got NATO together. I got everybody together. But with all of that, I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know. I don't devote a lot of my time. Let me give you another example. China. China was going to hit us with rare earth. Now, everybody says, oh, what does that mean? Magnets. If China refused to give magnets, because they have a monopoly on magnets, because they were allowed to happen over a 32-year period, there wouldn't be a car made in the entire world. There wouldn't be a radio. There wouldn't be a television. There wouldn't be internet. There wouldn't be anything, because magnets are such a part. Now, nobody knows what magnets are. And not overly sophisticated, but to build a magnet system would take 2 years. So if I weren't able to say to China, look, if you're going to do that to us, we're going to charge you 158% tariff. It was 100% on top of 58%. And China called up immediately and said, we will make peace. And we made peace. We made a great deal. We made an unbelievable deal. And China's paying tariffs to the United States, not the United States paying tariffs to China, which has always been the way it was. Nobody can believe these deals. But so when somebody makes a statement about he's devoting time to the world, well, the world is the United States, because if the world's in trouble or if the world is ripping us off, the world was ripping us off before I came here. Europe was getting massive tariffs. They were sending us 9-10 million cars a year. We were sending them none. They were not taking our agriculture. We were taking massive amounts of their. It was so unfair. Now we have a deal where $950 billion is coming into the United States because of me and because of tariffs. So if I don't do all these things, our country is doing very poorly. So, it's easy to say, oh, don't worry about the world. But the world is turning out to be our biggest customer. The world was on fire. And we could have been in that fire very easily if you didn't have a president that knew what he was doing.
What about can you guarantee to Americans that travel is going to go back to normal once the government...
That travel is? Oh, yeah. It'll go better than normal. You know why?
When the government reopens.
Yeah, sure. It'll be much better than normal because we're buying the most sophisticated avionics and, technology for our control towers. And we didn't have that. We had a guy named Buttigieg. Edge, they say is the best way. Just say two edges, like off the edge of a cliff, which is where they were taking us, by the way. Edge was the Secretary of Transportation, and he spent billions of dollars trying to patch together our air traffic control system, which was a conglomeration of all different systems in all different cities. They had hundreds of companies working on it. And they were spending billions of dollars. And when they turned it on, it didn't work. It didn't even work a little bit. That's why you had a helicopter crashing into an airplane, that if we had a great system, bells and whistles would have started going off. So we are now in the process. We're in final bids of getting the finest system anywhere in the world. I've analyzed it. Sean Duffy has been working really hard on it, doing a fantastic job, by the way. And over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be handing out the finest air traffic control system anywhere in the world. All the towers will be equipped. They were going copper wire into glass wire into other types of wire. And if you knew anything, copper wire doesn't work with glass. Glass doesn't work with other substances. And they spent billions of dollars, and when they turned it on, nothing happened, okay? We're getting the most sophisticated, all brand new. Every control tower will have the same exact system. It'll be the most sophisticated system by far in the world. And what we've done is we've looked around other countries and we've taken the absolute best systems in every different form, because there are different. You have lots of different companies like IBM and Raytheon and a lot of great companies. They're all bidding, and we're going to pick the best one, and it'll get built relatively quickly. And we are going to have the greatest air traffic control system anywhere in the world. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, just listening in there, President Trump, as the media is ushered out, as this was the swearing-in ceremony for the ambassador to India, Sergio Gore. We also saw inside of that Oval Office meeting the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, sharing some message there as well. So we also saw Vice President J.D. Vance. So quite the plethora of members of the administration and others inside of that Oval Office. Some big takeaways we are learning, including that meeting with the Syrian president. Today we'll get into that a little bit later on, but I do want to talk here on Live Now from Fox about what we are watching, including this, a post from Rapid Response saying, the reporter, do you approve of the deal that's happening on Capitol Hill to end the shutdown? That's the big story of the weekend. He said, if it's the deal I've heard about, I would say so. We have support from enough Democrats, and we're going to be opening up our country. That in reference to the shutdown, the test vote passing through last night, some procedurals left. Also talking about potentially the dividend. President Trump saying we're going to issue a dividend to our middle-income people and lower-income people out of about $2,000. We're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. Trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from tariffs. So some big news that we're following, that floating of that idea there from Washington, D.C. and the White House. We heard from the Economic Advisor, Council of Economic Advisors, Kevin Hassett earlier on today, talking a little bit about some of those tariffs as well. Also the potentially idea of 50-year mortgages. So plenty to get to on this day. A live look right now there at the New York Stock Exchange, up some 380 points by the end of the day. Let's quickly shift, though, back to what we are following, and the chase goes on. The never-ending chase in Southern California, stretching from Thousand Oaks in the Los Angeles vicinity, actually north, all the way down into San Diego. Yes, San Diego. They're from Southern California. You can see there as they're kind of chasing it in full. It might have gotten out of reach a little bit because they're following it from so far north. So Southern California, they're very close to it, but you can see potentially they're leaving it. You can see the Coronado Bridge, so they might be eluding that or leaving that for the time being. But it was a stolen vehicle pursuit, a van going upwards of 80 miles an hour. We did see several spike strip adaptations by law enforcement trying to slow this individual or people down. That did not work. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I'm not exactly sure where they're going. They're talking about some of the transmission issues, some of the airspace issues in Southern California, because we rarely, I don't think I've ever seen a chase go that far south from the LA area all the way down to San Diego, taking the 405 south to the 5, if you're familiar with that area. And it was a quick jaunt for this individual that direction. All right, we're following it all here on Live Now from Fox. We're back after this.
This message is for everyone on Medicare. Right now is the Medicare annual enrollment period, and some people may be worried if their Medicare benefits will be impacted by changes coming in 2026. So we are encouraging everyone on Medicare to call and check up on their Medicare plan and benefits before the annual enrollment period deadline on December 7th. The call and Medicare checkup are free. Did you know that Medicare plans change every year, and some plans may even be discontinued next year? That's right. Medicare plans change every year, and some plans may even be discontinued. So call now to make sure you're getting the best plan for you. Call the number on your screen now for your free Medicare coverage checkup. We will check to see if there are any changes to your plan in the coming year, or see if there is a Medicare Advantage plan now available in your area with additional benefits or potential cost savings that may better suit your needs. Some people may be worried if their Medicare benefits will be impacted by changes coming in 2026. So we are encouraging everyone on Medicare to call and check up on their Medicare plans and benefits before the deadline. Don't wait. Call to speak with a licensed insurance agent before the annual enrollment period deadline, December 7th. The call and checkup are free. You can call now even if you called before. The call and 2026 Medicare coverage checkup are free. So call now for your free, no obligation Medicare benefits review.
Just call 800-305-9234. 800-305-9234.
Gordon Ramsay himself is going to be cooking our meals. Jeff, what are you guys doing here? No.
I got a stadium with the greatest players of all time. Serena Williams, Aaron Judge, Cristiano Ronaldo, even David Letterman. David Letterman! Good luck. We actually got Madison Beard to go on a date with Nolan. How's the weather?
How's the weather?
All right, Tom, you can start trying. Oh! That happens so fast.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andy Mack. 4:15 on the East Coast, 1 o'clock out west, as we're continuing to follow the latest as that day is not coming to a conclusion, but for our viewers, our vantage point, it is kind of going to elude us. We're not going to see the conclusion of it as the Skyfox helicopter returning potentially back to Los Angeles after the stolen vehicle pursuit. So following it all here on Live Now from Fox, I do want to put up a live picture in Washington, D.C. at the White House. We did see some images inside of the Oval Office. President Trump there swearing in the new ambassador to India, Sergio Gore. He's talking and taking questions from reporters, including about the ongoing government shutdown, but potentially with an end in sight. A live picture right there. We did hear comments from lawmakers, including Majority Leader John Thune, optimistic as they got those 60 votes that were necessary to move it through the test vote. We'll see still some hurdles it needs to overcome in the next several days before it heads over to the House. All right, let's take you out to another event that was unfolding while we were in the middle of that car chase, while President Trump was talking, this being involving what was going on in Louisville, as the mayor there, Craig Greenberg, providing an update on the deadly crash of that cargo MD-11 plane last week, talking about some of the missing persons. Let's listen into this here from earlier on Live Now.
Grade A Auto Parts family. There we had an opportunity to support the individuals who are going through this incredibly difficult time, grieving the loss of their loved ones, relatives, colleagues, friends. But one thing that also was inspiring last night was we heard about incredible acts of heroism. These are not trained first responders that we have heard over the past week about the great work of our firefighters, police officers, other emergency responders, but folks that were at Grade A Auto Parks, employees who jumped into action to save their colleagues. It was incredibly inspiring and uplifting during this time of great pain and tragedy. We will be there to continue to support the entire Grade A family and all of the other victims and survivors for as long as it takes. Through the weekend and today, NTSB continues its work at the site, continuing the investigation to provide answers so many of us are looking for. First responders remain at the scene. Today, they're removing heavy equipment, heavy parts of the plane that have fallen into the crash site so that other first responders can continue the search for any victims that still remain on the scene. It remains a dangerous place to be, and so that's why it is still restricted to first responders. Rachel and I had a chance to visit the exterior of the perimeter of the crash field over the weekend to serve some lunch to the first responders that are working all day until we get the entire site cleaned up. Yesterday, an Okolona firefighter suffered a minor knee injury. He has been released and is recovering right now. It's amazing to think that with all these first responders, that was the first injury of a first responder that we had at the scene. And on perfect cue, Chief Little from the Okolona Fire Department is joining us as well as his crews remain out there. You'll hear from Tony and Jody in a second here and some other updates, but first, let me turn it over to Congressman McGarvey, who has been an amazing partner working with us to help coordinate federal resources that are necessary following this incident. Congressman McGarvey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for your and your team's incredible leadership throughout this entire thing. I think I was literally walking down the street in Washington, D.C., trying to get in front of a television when we first spoke about how we could coordinate this. You have been a steadfast leader in every moment since. And you mentioned, I think, so many things we're all seeing right now. First was just utter shock, grief, not really knowing how we could all process what's going on. think some of that shock is still there, but you're seeing a lot of sadness right now in our community, a lot of hurt. Whether it's meeting with victims, families, whether it's meeting with survivors who are starting to come to grips with their own experiences out there. The mayor mentioned last night, we gathered with a group of people, and it was family members of the people who've passed away. It was people who were there, who managed to escape, some who helped others escape. Their stories are heartbreaking. The pain is still so fresh and so real. It is sometimes even masked by the shock of how they talk about it. I was talking to one guy who was there last night, and it came up, and I said, "So you were there when this happened?" He said, "Oh yeah, I was in my office in a different building." He talked about how he heard the explosions and ran outside, and all he could see was fire, and he was paralyzed. And he realized what was happening, and the heat was so intense that he knew he wanted to run, but he said he couldn't move his feet. It was only after that someone credited him with saving their life, because they said that he was yelling to run while he himself couldn't move his own feet. But he doesn't remember telling people to run. These stories, I think, are going to keep coming out. And as they do, it's so important for all of us to continue lifting each other up, to continue talking about, if you need help, ask for it. There's so many services available, and we're all here for each and every one of you. I want to speak a little bit on the federal side of this. The city partners have been amazing. Jody, you and your team, Chief Little, you, of course, and all the brave first responders, your firehouse. Tony, thank you all so much for what you've done to our state partners and the governor. They're incredible. NTSB is still on the ground. They are doing the work. They are trying to get these answers as quickly as possible. The mayor and I remain in contact with them and what they are doing. They are thorough, they are deliberate, they are intentional. We want those answers now. They want those answers as well, but they're going to make sure they're right before they get them out there to the public. They are still very much doing this work and intentional about it. I want to congratulate or thank a little bit the EPA. I think the EPA has done a really good job of working with state and local partners and making sure that the cleanup from this is as thorough as it can possibly be, and that any possible problems as a result of the fire itself or from putting out the fire are as minimal as they can possibly be. And of course, our federal partners with the NTSB, the FBI has been out collecting evidence. We remain in touch with all of them as this is truly a partnership, which is something you'd expect in Louisville, something you'd expect in Kentucky. All of us, city, state, federal, every single person out there working together to help get answers, to help people who need it, to help make sure that in spite of this awful, almost incomprehensible tragedy, that we're doing everything we can to put the pieces back together and help each other out. So thank you so much, Mayor.
Thanks, Congressman. As you just heard the Congressman mention, so many folks have been helping, so many different agencies, and this is a situation where early action prevented an even worse catastrophe from happening. You know, in some places where the crash occurred, oil was 2, 3, or more feet deep at the time. UPS has brought in a contractor to work with the EPA, work with MSD to make sure that the entire site is cleaned up. But even before they got onto the scene, MSD was there. Jody was recounting how there are very few incidents that he can recall where the cleanup is beginning while the first responders are still on scene responding. But because of that fast action by MSD, we really did prevent an even worse catastrophe from some of the fuel and other things that were on the plane and that happened as a result of the horrible explosions. The MSD has been coordinating the cleanup here. They have helped stop 30,000 gallons of oil from going into our groundwater, and they and their entire team should be commended for the early action and continued work that they've done throughout this process to protect our waterways, to protect our ground from further contamination from all of the gas and the oil. To talk a little bit more about this cleanup effort that continues still today, please join me in welcoming the Executive Director of MSD, Tony Parrott.
Thank you, Mayor Greenberg, and also Congressman McGarvey. Obviously, you know, we want to extend our condolences and our sympathy to all the victims of this tragedy. We also want to extend our deepest gratitude to first responders and utility crews who have worked tirelessly in the face of this tragedy. MSD's environmental response team began immediately after the UPS plane crash on November 4th. We responded and were ready to mobilize within 90 minutes after the crash, and the men and women of our industrial waste division began to monitor the nearby waterways for potentially contamination and runoff from the explosion and implement temporary mitigation efforts. And it was because of their quick response, they placed floating booms that absorb oil and affect waterways, such in areas such as Northern Ditch.
All right, just listening in there as they're providing an update on this deadly cargo plane crash there in Louisville as the cargo flight was going from Louisville to Honolulu. It did catch flames. The right engine, the left engine, I should say, fell off of this MD-11 freighter. All right, let's quickly shift gears here on Live Now from Fox. Take you out to the Senate floor, hearing lawmakers speak. Let's listen into this live.
They live here. Those kids are doing that on a weekend and not getting paid either. I also think that getting out of the shutdown and getting the tens of millions of people that are hanging in the lurch across the country is just a good thing. So it's a shame we got here, but I want to thank the members on both sides of the aisle that have finally decided that we need to do our work here, pass a continuing resolution, pass some actual regular order bills, and prove that this place can work. But the work's not done, Mr. President. We have about 90 days now to fix the other part that we couldn't get agreement on, and let's make sure we start doing the work now so that every Capitol Police officer, every sergeant at arms, every Senate staff, all the people down at the dais who are working extra long hours actually get paid for the hard work they do. On behalf of the other members, I thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, you're just listening in there. Tom Tillis wrapping up those remarks on the Senate floor as this late last night, the Senate passing this test vote. And of course, the House saying, Mike Johnson saying that potentially a vote for the House might not happen to Wednesday. So that might mean they're going to give about 48 hours or so, and they're likely encouraging lawmakers to get back to Washington, D.C. ASAP in terms of what we might see to reopen the government. Let's slide away for another quick 2-minute break. We'll be right back.
Thank you for calling Luminary Life. This is Samuel. How can I help you today?
Hi, Samuel. I'm just looking into something simple. I don't want my kids stuck with my funeral costs when that time comes.
You're not alone in that. A lot of folks call for that same reason. We specialize in final expense life insurance, something affordable that covers those exact costs. May I ask your age?
I'm 64.
Perfect. You qualify for coverage up to $50,000. These policies are designed to make sure everything's taken care of. Burial, medical bills, or anything your loved ones might need help with. And the best part, you can get started for less than $1 a day.
That sounds good, but I've heard some companies change things later, like raising rates or cutting payouts.
That's where Luminary Life is different. With us, your rate will never increase. Your payout amount will never be decreased, and your coverage can never be canceled without your approval. It's guaranteed for life, steady, predictable, and built for peace of mind.
That's a relief. I just want something I can count on.
Exactly. This is all about making things easier for the people you care about.
All right, that sounds good. What do I do next?
Let's go over a few quick options to find a plan that fits you best. Call us right now at 888-363-9960. That's 888-363-9960.
Hey, what's up?
Shh. Hunting for holiday deals.
Thought you made everything in your workshop.
You try making a 75-inch TV out of a block of wood. All right, but like her, I need the best deals. We both have a lot of specific wish lists.
Wish list nailed. Best Buy has new doorbusters every Friday all season.
Every Friday?
Who are you talking to?
No one?
Get new doorbusters every Friday all season long at Best Buy.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack, looking live there on the Senate floor as they passed a key test vote late last night in the first real step moving forward toward the reopening of the government after, now we're on to day number 41, as they took the first step after a group of moderate Democrats agreed to proceed without a guaranteed extension of the health care subsidy, angering many in their caucus who say Americans want them to continue the fight. It reached the threshold of 60 votes, just enough to pass that filibuster late last night. We're hearing lawmakers speak. We'll take you out to it as soon as anyone else steps up. For the time being, let's take you out to another main headline as the retirement of Nancy Pelosi, what it could mean for her district in California, but also another aspect. Let's listen in to this interview. Here to Live Now.